Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. This is Lauren Lamantia with Accounting Business Solutions by JCS. And today we have with us John Lindquist, who's going to be showing us Job Ops Field Service Software for Sage 100. With that said, John, go ahead and take it away.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Lauren. Today we're going to take a look at the Field Service Dispatch application powered by Job Ops. It's a integrated system, fully integrated with Sage 100, suited for businesses who perform services out in the field on various types of different equipment, as well as services. To begin with, as you can see from the menu here, we're presented with a list of various different options. For starters, one of the cornerstones of the system is the equipment asset maintenance record. And this is a record that's going to track various different assets or pieces of equipment you may have out in the field. This record gets created several different ways, either by selling that piece of equipment. This record will be created at that time, or it can be added later on through service calls. In any case, what's going to happen here at this record level is this is where we're going to track the piece of equipment, the manufacturer serial number for that piece of equipment, and various different warranty information, if there's a warranty for the equipment, customer information, the lifetime revenue and total cost statistics for that piece of equipment, the initial sale and repair information for that piece of equipment. If there's any parts associated with that piece of equipment, we'll see those on a parts list, along with, if we look over to the right over here, we would also see where those parts may be located at various different trucks within the company for those technicians that are out in the field. Any transactions for that piece of equipment can be viewed from the Transactions tab with complete drill down to the original transaction, showing what that particular transaction involved, whether it was parts or a repair. Any attachments for the piece of equipment, for example, the repair manual, operator's manual, things like that can be centrally located and stored here at the equipment asset level. What's nice about this is, as technicians are out in the field, they'll have access to these attachments to view them, which could be important information for them to, in order for them to repair the equipment properly and effectively. And in the service history, whether it be service tickets generated via the customer calling in for service or preventative maintenance or a combination of both, can be viewed from the service history screen with, once again, full drill down capability. As we can see, one of the other things we can do with the Field Service Dispatch application is we can create service agreements for our customers. And the service agreements, you're given a lot of flexibility in how to set these up, how they're handled as far as billing's concerned. Whether the billing type's time and materials, the fixed rate or prepaid. And then as well, on the equipment tab, this is where you're going to list the various different pieces of equipment that are covered under the warranty. And if it's a piece of equipment that you want to perform preventative maintenance on, you can set it up to go ahead and set up what that preventative maintenance schedule would be, and the costs and billings rates based on however you want to set that up for your customer. Once you've established your service agreements, then you can go ahead and you can do your service ticket billing. And we've also got an invoice selection program here that will go through and scan all your various different service billings. And what the system will do is it will maintain the billing for you, allowing you to, process your billings in a timely manner to make sure that you are getting the bills out to cover your various different service agreements that you've got set up within your company. Also, preventative maintenance. If you offer preventative maintenance, we also have a preventative maintenance generation program, And what that program will do is it will review all your service contracts, and those customers who have equipment covered under a preventative maintenance contract, the system will take a look at the settings for those and generate service tickets for those items that need to be scheduled for preventative maintenance. And without any further ado, the next place we're going to jump into is the service dispatch board. This is kind of the cornerstone of the system, so to speak. This is where we're going to see a listing of our technicians and what their current status is. As well as down below here, we're going to see a list of the various different service tickets that are currently in the queue and their current statuses as well. As you can see, as we highlight a particular service ticket, right mouse click can give us a host of various different options to anywhere from editing the service ticket, to actually scheduling the service ticket or viewing any appointments that have been set up for that particular service ticket. The other nice feature with the dispatch board is as new calls are taken, all we need to simply do as the call comes in is click the new call button. And then we need to either determine whether or not this is a customer that we currently do business with who may have a current service agreement on hand with us, or, and if not a service agreement, maybe a equipment asset file's already been created for the item that they're calling in about service on. And if that's the case, all we need to do is go ahead and select that particular item from the list. And once we select that item, the system will go ahead and pre-populate the fields based on the information contained within the asset record. If for some reason this is a new item that you have not set up an asset record for, then you could go ahead and just supply the customer information right here from the header screen and then move forward. We're going to go ahead and set a work ticket class for this item for field service. And then we're going to go ahead and leave the rest of the fields as are. We do support priority levels. Also, service levels can be established. And obviously, the priority and service levels, depending on the customer type, you can assign various different levels to them. And what those levels will do is provide flags and move us up on the list as well, based on the severity of importance of the job. We can verify our ship to address. And once again, we can go ahead and we can record a problem. Maybe it's a problem based on current problem codes we've got established already, or we can simply go ahead and supply in a free-form method the actual problem. From the additional tab, we can get some additional information on the equipment. We can see down below, and then as well as the parts information and the labor information and what's been covered under warranty. Once I'm satisfied with all the fields that have been entered, I can simply go ahead and accept. And once I've accepted, I can now see down in the dispatch board that that ticket's showing up at the bottom of my list. The next thing I'm going to want to do is schedule that job. And based on the board up above, I can see for the date of Wednesday, July 12th, 2017, I've got a lot of openings right now with my technicians. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to schedule this job with Todd Larson. So we're going to come down, right mouse click, select schedule, and we're going to select that system to schedule. We're going to move our mouse up here into the schedule area, and we're going to drop that right at about the 8:30 mark. And now we can go over here. We can edit the appointment if need be. We can slide it out, slide it back if need be, or if for some reason there's a conflict with Todd, we can move that to another technician. All right. The next thing that I'd like to share is that the tickets can also be set up the system can be configured to have an email sent to the technician who's going to be responsible for the service call. If you've got that set up properly, the technician out in the field would receive an email giving him the information where he needs to go and what job needs to be done. The next step we'll go take a look at is the technician dashboard. And let me change my date here, and I apologize for this, but it's a thing I must do, unfortunately. So the technician out in the field would go ahead and select his technician record. And once I select Todd Larson as a technician, I can see that I've currently got 2 tickets scheduled on my schedule so far. And if I click the schedule button over to the upper left-hand corner, I can see what those schedules are. I've got a work ticket at 8:15 a.m. and then I've got one at 1:30. So what I'll do is once I've arrived at my first location, I go ahead and click my Arrive button, and we'll go ahead and put in an arrival time at 8:30. And as well, we're going to go ahead and we are going to update the status of the ticket to show that it's in repair. This way, my dispatcher back in the main office branch, he can see the status of that ticket and see that I'm now at the customer site and that the status of this ticket's in a repair status. From here now, I can go ahead and start performing my work. If I need to add parts due to maybe a component being fried, in this particular job, we'll go ahead and add a motherboard. And the warehouse I'm working from today, I'm driving van 3, and so that's been set up as truck 3 as the warehouse. And I'm going to go ahead and we're going to issue one from the van. And since the system already knows that this is a warranty job, it's not going to do any billing to the customer. And now that I've replaced that, the next thing I could do is I would, once I've completed the job and I'm happy with my work, it's time for me to go ahead and depart. So I'll go ahead and we'll click the depart icon, and then we'll record a departure time, and we'll record 11:30. And now my technician status, I will change that to in transit, because now I'm in transit to my next destination. And the status for this work ticket is completed, so we'll go ahead and complete that. If for some reason I need a map to my next destination, I can go ahead and click the map to next destination box. And once I say OK here, whoops, I meant PM, sorry about that. Real quickly, I can go ahead and record the work that I performed. And then if I need to change the type of activity I was, or department, or the earnings code, I could go ahead and change that. Based on the settings, I've got the ability to do that. I don't need to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and accept that, record the work that I performed, and then we're going to go ahead and exit from that. And then we're going to get my map to my next destination. And there's my next destination right there in Chapman Avenue in Orange, California. So as time goes by, I go ahead and we're into our second ticket. And this is for a customer service system at Alltech Office Systems. And so we'll go ahead and we'll arrive here. We'll set our arrival time at 2 p.m. And once again, we want to change our status. And then once again, we can record parts. In this particular case, the sprinklers went off overnight. The server crashed and will not restart, as which is shown down below in the notes for the service call. So we can go ahead, if we need to add some parts to this job, we can go ahead and do so. Maybe we replace the memory here. And since my memory's evaluated based on the lot number, I've got to distribute it to the lot that I'm using it from. And then from here, we can go ahead and exit. If we have any expenses that we incur, for an example, maybe we had to run up to Home Depot and pick up a washer set for whatever case, we can go ahead and we can record the expense transaction as well, right from the technician dashboard. If we need to take a look at the history of the piece of equipment, we can go ahead and click the history button. And if we had any history on this piece of equipment, we would see that in the listing here, showing us the dates and the various different service tickets where we've worked on this piece of equipment in the past. And without any further ado, we'll go ahead and we will depart the job. And this is the function we use to record the labor information. We'll set the job to completed. And since I have nothing left on my schedule, we'll go ahead and just uncheck that and click OK. And then from here, once again, we can record the work that was done. And we'll go ahead and we'll assign this one to a repair activity. And since this customer is on not covered under a contract, they will be billed for the time. I'll go ahead and exit from here. And that concludes the technician dashboard. The other way we've got to manage our service ticket billings is, for starters, if we go up to our dispatch board, we can see the schedule for Todd Larson's cleared off now. And that's due to the fact that he completed his jobs for the day. And since they are complete, they're no longer showing up here in the system. For those companies that don't have mobile capabilities for their service technicians, those companies that work off of the paper-based system, and they still do exist, we have another method to capture the service ticket billing information at the end of each day. And in those situations, what you're going to be getting back at the end of the day basically is a stack of tickets with the day's transactions that have happened. So we offer the ability to go ahead and record those transactions as well by simply selecting the worker once again, selecting the service ticket, and then going ahead and adding any labor or parts that were done. And once you're satisfied with the entry, you would go ahead and update an invoice. At which time, the system is just following the standard Sage 100 workflow, which makes the field service dispatch system such a nice system. When we create service tickets, we're actually creating sales orders in the background in Sage 100. The nice thing about this system is it makes it awfully difficult to miss revenue opportunities. If you're using the system properly, you're constantly going to be issuing service tickets for service jobs, and if things are set up properly, anything that should be billable should be captured through the system, and the following the standard workflows within Sage 100, we would then complete the invoicing cycle through the sales order invoice update program. And we'll go there in 1 second. We'll go ahead and we'll issue one part to this job. And we'll update an invoice. And we'll go ahead and we'll update and invoice the ones that Tony did. Or excuse me, Todd. And now if we run over to the standard Sage 100 sales order system, we can go straight to invoice printing. Our invoices have already been updated from the field service dispatch system. And then here's the various different invoices that we did. Keeping in mind the forms are crystal report forms, so you've got total control over what these forms look like. And as we can see, based on what our settings were set up for, the billing automatically followed those rules. And if it was an item that should be billed, it was billed. And those items that shouldn't have been billed, the system did not bill. And we'll go ahead and run our sales journal. And here's our work ticket report from our various different service calls. Oops. And we'll go ahead and update our daily sales journal. And there's our general journal to the general ledger to record all the cost of goods sold and reductions in inventory and AR. And we'll go ahead and update that. And that is the field service dispatch module in a nutshell. Are there any questions?
John, I didn't see any questions come through in the chat box.
All right, perfect.
So I guess you did an excellent job.
Well, thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.